90% of us fail in the first 5 years. So to stay on top of it, you always have to be on top of the ball. What do you do as a person, Jeff, to ensure that you are finding your Kaizen and constantly finding improvement?
Welcome to the Art of Kaizen for Entrepreneurs, growing 1% everyday podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Art of Kaizen for Entrepreneur podcast, where we can discuss how to grow 1% every single day in both business and in self. Today, we have an SEO expert to uncover the truth if your business needs SEO or not. He has used his SEO knowledge to grow both large and medium-sized companies, even leading the SEO initiative for Purple Mattress to make them a top organic market share leader. Welcome to the show, Jeff Collins from SEO Study Spot.
Appreciate you having me on.
No problem. We super excited. I got to talk to you a little bit and got to go through your website before we actually started this podcast here. And, your positioning of the taking out the bullshit and really being focused on helping businesses grow and using SEO for clients that truly need it is not only inspiring, but I think what is needed in the market today to ensure that us as marketing and agency owners are trusted again after years of turmoil and craziness within our market space. So I'm curious, how did you create a company like SEO Study Spot? How did you get in the position to work with companies like Purple Mattress? And kind of where does the company sit today?
Yeah, so kind of how I got started with doing SEO is I started in the automotive detail business, and where I'd go to people's houses and detail their cars. And I quickly realized that I needed more clients. So I started doing SEO myself and kind of getting a feel for it, messing around. And after that, I decided, it's something I wanted to do full time. So I went to college, learned a little more about business. And then I got a full-time job doing SEO. So for the past 8 years or so, I've worked on both agency side and then in-house, working for Purple as well, brands like Purple to lead their SEO. So a lot of that is just kind of, getting to really understand what it is the business needs and then creating a custom tailored package around what they're trying to accomplish.
You talked about a little bit on your website and the marketing intake form I saw in here about how there's really an 80-20 rule that you see in SEO. And a lot of people are focused on that 80% that really does nothing for the growth of their organic traffic and acquiring customers. Can you dive in a little bit into what that 20% is that's actually successful in growing SEO?
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, I think especially in SEO, it's probably similar in other marketing areas as well. But there's always 1,001 things to do, but it's usually only 20% of those things that move the needle. So I find it kind of varies a little bit by the business and kind of what we're trying to do, whether it's driving more leads or just directly revenue, brand awareness, that sort of thing. But it's really avoiding the things like fixing alt image tags, just basic what I call like checkbox SEO, but more kind of drilling into what are the customers searching leading up to purchase and kind of where are they at in that stage when they're searching those things, and then creating assets on the site, whether it be landing pages or something to capture them when they're in market to buy.
Okay, awesome. I love the explanation. And the reason I asked that is because, SEO is, I believe, one of the longest running agencies and longest running services that you see business owners buy. Still, if someone doesn't know marketing, it's like, hey, yeah, I need SEO. Well, what's SEO? I'm going to get on top of Google. Well, that might be PPC. That might be SEO. You don't really know. So, I'm stemming into what do you actually find is the biggest problem as you're going out there and you're helping these clients? And in the industry specifically of SEO, what do you see as the biggest issue that you're trying to solve out in the market today, Jeff?
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that I've seen, in the past and today is just what you call checkbox SEO. So companies essentially get an SEO service where it's just, they're getting a specific amount of deliverables per month. It's not really, tailored to what they need as a business. And so a lot of what I've done to kind of overcome that is really just get into the weeds with the business in terms of like understanding first, do they even need SEO? I've had some businesses come to me and after looking at it, I just tell them, hey, it's not worth it. invest in a different channel for now, and maybe let's talk later. But if it does make sense for them to do SEO, then get a feel for kind of like what they're trying to get out of SEO, whether it be leads or direct revenue, increase brand awareness. And then from there, understand their customers' pain points a little bit and the product benefits. And then at that point, just build out a custom strategy that, when we're taking action, we always think, hey, does this tie back to what we're trying to accomplish here?
I love that. I mean, and let's dive into who you're actually helping, right? Because, to do this, to get that granular with your clients, to really understand not only the individual business's benefits, unique selling proposition, but to also understand the category of business and the consumers that they're looking to help with and how it resonates in their search indexes and how they actually search for answers and solutions to their problems. Are you working with every type of business? Are you kind of spread thin, kind of going with everything from restaurant to home improvement? Or do you stay inside a specific vertical that you help out with?
It usually varies anywhere from smaller business to enterprise companies. I've worked with quite a few e-com businesses. So yeah, it just kind of varies a little bit.
Okay. Is there an ideal client that, like, when they walk through your door, give you a phone call, you're like, I'm absolutely about to crush it with this business?
Yeah, generally e-com clients. I really feel good about in terms of really familiar with the space and things we can do to move the needle.
And that's kind of a blue ocean. Yeah, e-com is really focused around paid advertising, direct customer acquisition through paid ads, and a lot of content creation, a lot of social media and things of that nature. I think SEO is something that is always on the back burner for these e-commerce businesses because it is a longer actual sales cycle, I guess we would say. It takes a little bit longer for the SEO to catch wind and actually bring in revenue. So it's awesome that you're in that space. I think that's going to evolve more and more as these e-commerce businesses solidify themselves as brands within a market, and they're looking to actually grow and not pay for every customer and sale that they have coming through their store. So, when you talk about this, you talk about SEO, you talk about a clear understanding of who needs SEO, who doesn't need SEO, a clear understanding of what you're going to supply to them. You're not focusing on alt tags, meta tags, backlinking throughout the website, but actually keyword orientation, search impression data, understanding the top, moff, and boff, or top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel keyword orientation that actually leads the consumer down the pipeline for sales. So, to have this confidence to understand this, you got to mess up. You got to have some failures, got to have some trials and tribulations to get to a point where confidently this is how you're supposed to move forward. Do you have any maybe stories, history, or anything that you can bring up to our listeners that are listening to us right now of something that happened to you as a business owner or in the SEO space that maybe changed the way that you do business or resonates with you still today to ensure that you have structured core values that's built around kind of your trials and tribulations?
Yeah, yeah. I think to answer that, kind of tying back into the 80/20 rule. Earlier on in my career, I was working for a particular e-com client. They had over 30,000 pages on the site. And so I quickly learned that, with the resources and budget, there was no way that I could touch or do everything that we needed to do to grow the business, or not to grow the business, but to do just what we needed to do. And so it really forced me to prioritize. And so I had to look at, the few things that we could do that would move the needle versus getting everything done. And so that really changed kind of my perspective in the way that I tackle things of, um, we could have the biggest budget in the world, but we still can't do everything that needs to be done. So just focusing on the stuff that moves the needle.
Awesome. You want to give us some examples? I mean, I think you brought up a little bit before, but like when you work with a client, they're brand new, or say, because there's a bunch of companies out there right now talking to different SEO companies, talking to them about, okay, how am I actually going to grow? How's this going to actually leverage your landing page or your publications, or wherever it might be, to bring me traffic and grow me business? What are those key things that you look at initially that you're going to make changes to the website that'll have a long lasting or a positive effect on the company?
Yeah, that's a great question. So one of them I look at is I'll kind of group the pages into clusters. So I'll look at some of their highest traffic pages and then start to dig into those to see what are things that we can do to increase conversion for those pages. Also, is there any extra traffic that we can squeeze out of them? So kind of the idea there is small lift, high reward for those pages. And then I'll look at other pages that maybe get a medium, like a little bit of traffic, but have high rewards. So specifically look at things like high impression pages, but low clicks, and then go from there and update those.
Awesome to hear, Jeff. I mean, honestly, you're on top of it. You speak with a lot of confidence when it comes to understanding how to be successful with your clients. I got to ask though, we've talked a little bit about kind of where your business has come from, where you are today. Let's move into the future a little bit with AI and the single response that's happening on a lot of these platforms in the form of SEO, where back in the day, you typed in roofer near me and you just had your full list, maybe PPC on the top, maybe a little bit of Google Maps above that, but then your organic listings from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we even had pages, which had disappeared on us as well. To today, where we're having the Google guaranteed whole new listing on top, to actually the AI response is going to be above the Google guaranteed. Then you have Google guaranteed. Now you have maps, and now you have PPC, and then the organic. How is your job changing? How do you think that you as an SEO professional is going to change in say the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, it's a great question. So really, I mean, similar to the past, my job is changing a lot, and so adapting is crucial. One huge thing I've had to focus on lately with clients is diversifying. So as you said, with like AI, people using AI more to search and different things, I'm just helping clients to diversify their traffic so they're not just depending on the traditional Google results. They can also show up in what they would call like LLM, so ChatGPT. Also, things around forums, so like Reddit pulling data on particular industries so they can understand opportunities around that. So yeah, just going back to diversifying their traffic, so they have a long lasting strategy and revenue income.
I don't think a lot of people understand actually how to rank on an AI search engine. Can you give maybe one small piece of advice of how people can start looking into the value of ranking in AI, or maybe the first step to rank for a ChatGPT search listing or Claude search listing?
Yeah, definitely. So it's a bit of a black box. There's more and more information coming out, and then it's evolving more and more. Um, and so a lot of it overlaps with traditional SEO, doing the things that you need to do to rank traditionally, and then in turn will benefit in LLMs. But another one too, a big one is getting mentioned from other websites and getting more backlinks to your site. ChatGPT and other tools like that will pull in, data from other websites. So things like that help as well.
Hmm. So still base level SEO. You're still going after good backlinks, strong diversification of authority score, making sure that your site's structured correctly, making sure that you do have organic traffic, and then making sure you're leveraging those local listings and in getting those listings across all directories of the website is going to help with that AI. Awesome. Great information, Jeff. I think the listeners there will definitely spike in their ears when they start hearing AI and how to rank there, because I don't know about you, but I'm using AI on a consistent basis just to have good conversations, brainstorm. A lot of the time on travels, on my travels, I'm using AI to pick different spots. And it's an awesome tool to leverage. So, you're obviously on top of your stuff, Jeff. You understand SEO, you understand what really moves the needle for your clients in the form of conversion rate optimization and website optimization for traffic. My question to you is, how do you find your Kaizen? For the listeners out there that haven't heard this before, Kaizen is a Japanese business term that means endless progression or 1% progression every single day in both business and in self. And for you, Jeff, on an SEO in a space that's constantly changing, constantly evolving, and being a business owner, which 90% of us fail in the first 5 years. So to stay on top of it, you always have to be on top of the ball. What do you do as a person, Jeff, to ensure that you are finding your Kaizen and constantly finding improvement?
Yeah, I think like one, just acknowledging that I want to get better, right? And just striving for that. That's a start. But just being a member on like different forums, private forums, like being close with other SEOs, seeing what they're testing, testing things myself as well. Creating my own websites and testing different strategies, uh, buying courses, being active on social media, like seeing what other people are sharing, newsletters, that sort of thing.
Really in the nitty gritty and in the day-to-day activities. And again, if you're an entrepreneur, a business owner, listen to this right now, that's who you want in your corner. If you're looking to purchase SEO, if you're looking to get a higher ranking in your organic positioning, looking to get more organic traffic to your website, you got to connect with an individual like Jeff, who not only understands the changing times of AI, not only understands the search intent of the consumers, but also understands how to optimize the landing pages to get the most out of the traffic that you're getting. Jeff, this has been awesome. I have one last bonus question for you. Have you ever read the book Atlas Shrugs?
I have not.
Okay, so for the listeners out there, it's an amazing content, super long book, very, very difficult to read, but the concept's incredible. The concept of Atlas Shrugs is that us as entrepreneurs and business owners, you, Jeff, me, the listeners right now, we put the world on our shoulders. Business is what moves the world forward. Ideas and concepts and small level execution is great, but if you don't put into an operational structure and you don't move it with a group of people, it doesn't actually change the world. So the book Atlas Shrugs talks about us as Atlas, the people that move the world forward. What happens if we just walked away from it all? What happens if we shrugged off our businesses and decided we don't want to run a company anymore? We don't want to take the pressure of all the employees, the staff, the clients, all of that, and what the world would look like if that would happen. So my question to you, Jeff, is today, Atlas Shrugs, and I walked away from my agency, you walked away from yours. Everyone that runs a restaurant walked away from the restaurants. The facilities are still there. The home improvement material is still out there, but there's no one running the companies anymore. If that happened today, Jeff, what would be the first business that you would start tomorrow?
Oh, that's a good question. I think probably like a service industry type business. I feel like there's specific things that people always need and are going to need for the foreseeable future. So probably service type industry, and then tie in SEO, right? Business needs to be found. So
I love that. Still going to do, even if the world completely got flipped upside down, Jeff would still be developing landing pages, optimizing your website, figuring out how to get you on the first listing of Google, and making sure that you're coming up when there's an AI search around your business or around your category. Jeff, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. You want to give a shout out to how these entrepreneurs and business owners could find you if they're interested in using your service?
yeah, so I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, so you can find me on there. Just search my name, maybe add in something like SEO on the end. Also, you can find me on my website too, SEOstudiespot.com.
Perfect. All that information is going to be found below in this description. If you guys have made it this far, please make sure you like, comment, and share, and we will see you on the next Kaizen podcast.